Your first home is not your forever home. It's a starting point, and it's okay to start small. Hello and welcome to the Okwe John Show, where we simplify faith and finances. So in this video, I want to talk about how to save up to buy your home. I have conversations with Gen Zs, millennials, and baby boomers who haven't given up on their dream of owning a home. And I find there's a repeated theme of people saying, how am I ever going to be able to afford to buy a property in the city that I live in and I love? If you live in a major city in the world like London, New York, or Lagos, or just a financial capital or a vibrant city, you'd find property prices have skyrocketed, and they're at the point where even though they've slowed down in many places across the world, you find they're still not affordable for many people. In London last year, the average flat price was £568,000. That is a lot of money. So before I go into sharing how to save up for your home, there's just a few things that I consider really important that I feel the need to share. The first thing is, your first home is not your forever home. It's a starting point, and it's okay to start small. So my advice is, be practical, be savvy. I'm an advocate for having faith, but at the same time, I keep saying, don't be reckless. Don't mistake faith for recklessness. So if you have the budget of zone 4, there's no point looking in zone 1 or looking in the most expensive part of town as your starting point for buying your property. It's okay to start small. There's nothing wrong in it. You are going to earn more. You're going to do better. So with time, you can move on from your starting place, from your first home, and move on to a bigger and better home. The second thing to note is, always talk to your broker first. I hear so many people saying this to me. I saved up my deposit and I started looking for a property. I found a property I like and I put in an offer. Then they go to the broker and they find out some surprises, some shocking things. It's always good to speak to the broker. It's never too early to speak to them. Bearing in mind this is their profession, they're more aware, they're more up to date on the market, so they can talk to you about your affordability, they can talk to you about what you need to get in place, to get your ducks in a row. It's always a good idea to speak to them first. Please don't go making an offer on a property without talking to a broker first. The third thing is, stay on top of your credit report. There are lots of free apps that you can use. Check your credit report, see if you've got any funnies on there, try and resolve any issues you have. Lots of people start the process of buying a house only to find out that they've got a CCJ or something on their account. These are things that you can resolve if you start the process way in advance. This is why it's very important to talk to your broker. And most banking apps these days are linked to a free credit report, so that you can really see how well you're doing in terms of your credit rating. And it's not such a bad idea for you to pay as well, so you can pay on Experian or on Equifax to see what your credit report is, see if there's anything to be corrected. The fourth thing I consider really important to share in this video before saying how to save is, you've got to wait for the right time to buy your home. There's that pressure that everybody around me owns a property, so I must do the same. Everyone's timing is different, and the timing has to be right for you. Bearing in mind, buying a home is it's a really big investment, and it's a big responsibility as well. So the timing has to be right for you. I remember a few years ago, one of my friends said to me at the time, she said, "I'm not buying my house yet." And I looked at her, I gave her the strangest look because I found it a bit ridiculous that she was saying that to me. But she said to me, the timing isn't right. I've got a lot of issues to resolve, on this front. And I just want to wait. I would just rather have a clear mind so I know that I'm buying right. And eventually when she bought a property, She was very fortunate and she bought a property that was 15% with a 15% discount. I mean, the timing was right and perfect for her. Please do not put yourself in unnecessary trouble by taking out more debt than you can mentally afford to take on. Now, moving on to the best part, how to save up for your home. The first thing is be disciplined, be consistent, and be clear on what you want. By clarity, I mean do your research and look around what properties are available, how much do they cost, how much deposit would I need. Now, talking about how to save up, just remember you've got to be clear on what you want. You need clarity, consistency, and you need to be practical and prudent. So make a lot of costs and make this your number one priority. One of the best ways to save towards your property is if you are privileged to have your mum and dad and they have a home that you can move into, stay with them as long as possible. So this is particularly for Gen Zs. I know there's that urge to want to move out and live by yourself, but actually I've found living with mum and dad is just one of the most effective ways to save. You find you don't have the added pressure of paying rent anywhere else, and of course, please be responsible, contribute as well. This isn't your chance to be irresponsible. You gotta be responsible and contribute and support them, but you'd find you're able to save up a lot of money. The second way to approach this is to find someone that you can trust, a trusted person, a sibling or a family member or a really close friend and family that you can join forces with and buy together. Two are better than one because there's a greater reward for your labor. So if you find someone else that you find that you're both, the deposit just got easier, the burden of the deposit saving just got easier because you find you can probably both go maybe halfways or whatever splits you want to do between yourselves, but at least you don't have to handle all the pressure by yourself. Also, you find your buying power just gets better when you do it with somebody else. And remember, it's a starting point. It's not your final destination, it's a starting point. The third thing as well is it's really important for you to do your research on areas. So for example, if you live in a major city, buying on the outskirts can also be a good starting point. For example, in London, if you are looking in the inner city area, you find it's really expensive. But when you start to step out, you find this, it starts to get a bit more affordable. It's not to say that it's not expensive, but it gets more affordable. And you find it's a starting point. It's a place to start. So that's another compromise that you can make. Now, this is my favorite point on how to save for buying your home. If you live in the UK, and you're trying to buy your first home, please open a lifetime ISA account. What it is you open up this account and within the financial year, the 6th of April to the 5th of April of the following year, you can, if you put up to £4,000 in the ISA, the government will top it up with a bonus of £1,000. So if you do this over a 3-year period, you technically get £3,000 of free money. And if you are doing this in conjunction with somebody else, if you're buying with someone, they can also open a lifetime ISA account and also get the bonus as well on top of their savings. It's incredible. So between yourselves, if you did it over a 3-year period, that could be £6,000 towards your deposit or the added cost of buying a property. Remember, stay on top of your budget, be disciplined, be clear on what you want, and make sure it's the right time for you. Please don't fall into the pressure of just doing something because everybody else is doing it. It's got to be the right time for you. I hope you found this video useful. If you have, please hit the subscribe button and share with someone that will find it very useful. If you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, please subscribe so you're one of the first people to know when the next video drops.